Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Peek out here in Singapore, and I am coming at you live. It is Saturday night, the 16th of December. Actually, technically, you know me, it's middle of the night, so it's actually the 17th. It's actually Sunday already. Um, yeah, went to work this morning, dragged my baby girl with me. Hi, Avina, how are you? Thanks for joining me. I am curious about today, actually. I had a lot going on, a lot of thinking to do, a lot of things mulling over my mind. Started off with, the commute to work, obviously. On the way there, I don't know if y'all know, we've been doing the 12 days of manifesting miracles. And one of our Crown for Success sisters, our regional vice president, Brooke, was on this morning talking about using your sensuality to manifest the things that you want. I will admit that is a part of my life that I'm not comfortable with and I'm not comfortable talking about. So it was hard for me to listen to. Maybe I'm a prude, maybe I'm not. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But the point is, that's something that was a little outside of my comfort zone in that it's something that I've avoided for a long time, I guess. Anyway, that's beside the point. So that was this morning. From there, we got to work. We had a couple of interviews this morning. One person did not show up. The second person came around noon-ish, he was scheduled for 12:30. I did the interview. I wasn't expecting to do the interview, but I did the interview. I felt pretty good about him. He was kind of young. I felt that he was qualified. He was well-spoken, well-dressed, seemed very respectful, very eager to teach high achievers because he's taught, regular students from the academic track, and he's also taught gifted students. So he knows the difference between their learning acumen, their drive, basically, to get the work done, get the scores that they want, and he has a preference. And I totally agree with that. That's cool, So when I told him the target market of students that we're looking for, he was totally thrilled. So I thought, hey, he's a good fit. He wants to teach the kind of kids that we're trying to attract. It became a little bit of an ethics dilemma for me because I feel that Singaporeans are very set in their ways. And while they talk a good game about being fair, unprejudiced, it's the furthest thing from the truth. And it kind of hurts me a little bit. Because the number one reason I came back to Singapore is because it's diverse. You have all kinds of cultures, so you see everybody live with each other, without too much conflict. But I was wrong. I think those prejudices exist everywhere. I think that in Singapore now, in this day and age, it's a little more prevalent. You see it a little bit more. And it hurts my feelings because that's not at all what I expected. And I talked about this too, right? I've been trying really hard not to expect so much, but I don't know. I'm still working on it. But I see it even in, how people interact with my daughter. So my daughter is half black, half Indian. She looks very Indian. She looks just like me. I'm very proud. Her hair is very curly, and I find the best way to manage her hair is to put it in braids. And not big plaits like we used to do when we were going to school. I'm talking about box braids, like a little African American girl, because it's the best thing for her hair. It keeps very well. I don't know if you understand, but African American hair, or at least curly hair, kinky curly hair, the more you wash it, the more brittle it becomes, the more prone to breakage, the more shedding. It's just not good for their scalp. Their hair is very different. The porosity is different. The makeup of their hair is different. So the more you wash it, if you don't wash it with the right stuff, and most times it's a cleansing conditioner, not a shampoo, because I don't know if you know, regular shampoos have sulfates in them, and the sulfates tend to not wash out the first time. They're in your hair for a little while. So that's why we actually have to put in a conditioner, because we're washing out all the natural oils, and somehow, your hair gets itchy after you've washed the shampoo. I don't know if you noticed. And so that's why I need to put conditioner into my hair or whatever. Anyway, so long story short, I feel the difference in how they treat her, even down to the children in her daycare. Granted, she's a new kid in class this year because they've all been through school together since nursery and they're used to each other, and all of them have about the same ideals as far as play, sharing, how to treat each other, how to talk to each other. And here she come, special child that she is, because her mom is crazy. And I've taught her to be very open-minded, show her heart as much as she can. She knows that love is her superpower. Um, she knows how to be empathetic. At the tender age of 6, she knows how to read your face and understand that you may not be feeling so good and you may need a hug. And you may need some extra attention. And you may need someone to make sure that they ask, how are you? Are you okay? Can I help you with something? Yeah, that's my daughter. And for her to be like that and be in a situation where in Singapore, the way you speak is already blunt and rude. They don't show much consideration for people's feelings. It's kind of frowned upon. And when you look different, they go treat you different. So as it is, she's at a disadvantage in their eyes. But in my eyes, I couldn't be more proud. So I see it already, the way that people treat each other in Singapore. Yeah, there's a big difference. They tend to treat Indian people like coolies, and I don't like that so much. They tend to assume that, if you're dark skinned, that you probably don't have that good a job, and you're probably an engineer or a doctor, and if you're not, you're probably a laborer of some sort. I don't like that, but I can't really change that fact. But the reason I bring this up is because in this interview today, some of those ethical HR things came up for me. Now, I have an HR background, and I see things as very fair. I'm not saying it's black or white. I do live in the gray a lot, but from my perspective, if the person is qualified, then they're qualified, and you give them a shot. But what I'm finding is a lot of employers will hire people based on what their clientele want. And if the clientele is bougie or stuck up or set in their ways as far as which race is allowed to teach their child, then the business owner can't afford to hire the right people based on skill. They have to hire the right people based on their look as well. And that kind of narrows the field, because the look that you're going for doesn't always have the qualifications that you want or the personality that you need to teach the kids. So being a psych major, here I go, right? The 360. So on one side, I do see what the small business owner is going through. It is quite difficult. You still need to, put bread and butter on the table, right? You need to feed your family and provide the service that you promised to provide. But on the same token, if I were trying to be hired, let's say I wasn't hired for sales or marketing. Let's say I went in for an interview to see if I could teach. And because of the look of me, maybe I was dressed too sharp. Yes, I've heard those terms. Dressed too sharp. Speaks too well. Let me give it to you this way, okay? I am in sales and marketing. I'm supposed to be running the workshops in order to recruit parents and students alike, and I've been told to dumb down my English. I've been told to read off the slides. Now, for public speaking purposes, we are taught not to read off the slides, because if the audience can read what the hell you're reading, what is the point of you being there? You're meant to ad-lib. But because I don't have a Singaporean accent, because I don't use Singaporean jargon, I don't use Singlish unless I'm one-on-one with someone, okay? I am being told that it's not good enough, that I will lose the crowd. And okay, I understand. I'm not saying it's wrong, but it hurts my feelings a little bit. It took me 2 decades to stop dumbing myself down for people to like me. It took me 2 decades at least to figure out that I like the way I am. I'm happy with the way I am. I have no problems with who I am. It's the other people outside of me. And it took me 2 decades to figure out that, you know what, to hell with everybody else. I need to be happy. So tonight I want to talk to you about happiness. I want you to close your eyes and imagine when you're off one day and you get to wake up whenever you feel like, and you finish, doing your household chores or whatever, and you get to sit for a moment and take a load off. And in that moment, you're content. You're happy. Why? Because it's natural. You are naturally meant to be happy. Not like overjoyed, ecstatic, nothing. I'm talking about just happy, content, peaceful. You enjoy the moment. You feel calm. You feel strong. It's like an easeful, peaceful feeling. I know that feeling. I love that feeling. Now, it doesn't come all the time. I don't notice it all the time. There are some times where, you sit down, you feel it for a second, and suddenly, like, your mind kicks in. Oh, did you do that? Did you remember this? Did you do that? And you're like, oh my God, okay, well, there goes that, that feeling. But it's not hard to come back to that feeling. I use music a lot. And I don't know about you, but music, depending on the song I choose, it would bring me back to a certain time in my life where I can feel everything that happened the first time I heard that song, or the first time I really started listening to that song over and over. You know how you go through those phases, right? You find a song you like, you listen to it over and over and over and over and over again, and then suddenly you can't get it out of your head, and then you're like, oh my God, why is it stuck in my head? And then you move on to the next song. But the point being, when you pick a song, it brings you back to a particular moment in your life. And a lot of times, you can find that happy feeling again. A lot of times. Not all the time. Sometimes you have songs that make you angry on purpose. I do that too. If I'm mad and I want to go yell at someone, but I can't because I care about the relationship more than I do about my pride. So what I do is I throw on some angry music until I can't listen to angry music anymore, and I've gotten over the feeling and I'm ready to go back to happy, peppy, whatever it is, music again. Now don't get me wrong, there are some times where I feel really great about listening to angry music. It just makes me feel happy for some reason. Maybe because I was super angry or depressed or something, and somehow it picks me up. I don't know. It's based on my mood. I'm a Pisces. I'm an empath. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, music can do that for me. I love that sense of accomplishment. So when I'm doing something that I know I'm good at doing, I also get that happy feeling. For example, the other day, it was yesterday. It wasn't even the other day. It was Friday. Okay, I was off. I got to drop my daughter off and come right back home. I didn't have that many errands. I had food in the fridge if I wanted to eat. I didn't have to stress out about what to do as far as food. So what I did was, I went through her toys to get rid of the things that are unnecessary, the things that are broken, the things that don't function the same way, the things she doesn't use that much. And I went through all of her toys. Well, okay, not all of her toys, half her toys, because there's another set in her room that I need to go through as well. And basically the idea being I wanted to get rid of some of the clutter in our lives. But while I was doing that, I didn't even have music on, to be honest. I think I had a movie running in the background just for some noise, because I was home by myself. I didn't want to really sit in quiet. Background noise, listen to it, idly listen to a movie while I was clearing out her toys, and I felt happy. I felt content. It wasn't where I was focused on the movie and I was going through the emotions as the movie was going through them, but I was just, listening to the noise in the background and enjoying the process of sorting out her toys. And that's what I'm finding lately. I know what I want, and yes, I do get upset when I don't have what I want and it doesn't happen the way I want it to, but I'm slowly learning that while I've set the intention of what I want, and I've decided that I really do want it, the how isn't so important. How it comes to me is not important, because the universe has a way of bringing things to you in the wildest possible ways, beyond your imagination, beyond what you understand of reality, and it will happen. But you can't hold on to how you think it should happen. You got to let go of that part. And that's the hardest thing, because, we're physical beings, right? We like to see what happens. We like to think we understand how things work. I'd like to think that if I studied hard and slept well and ate well, that I would get good grades. But sometimes it doesn't work that way. Sometimes I don't need to study as hard as I think I do. Sometimes I need to have some good conversation. Sometimes I need to teach someone else the material that I'm studying in order to drive it home. So it's not always the same way. For instance, if you have a love interest, I could, and I've done this before, in the whopping 2 relationships I've had in my life, and yes, I almost married both of them at one time or another. Anyway, I was under the impression that if I did everything I could to take care of the house, take care of them, take care of the kids, pay half the bills, be around, generally just be willing to help whenever they needed, that they would take care of me, and that is not how that works. That's a business arrangement. That's not how love works. If I'm going to give, I should give because I want to give, because it makes me feel good to give. There should not be a, well, okay, if I do this, then you do this for me. That's not how that works. That's a business arrangement. That is not love. That is not love. Because if that were the case, then look at me and my daughter. If I feed her and clothe her and shelter her, she should love me. But that's not the case. Look at the people around you. Look at the parents and children relationships around you. Is that how that works? Nope. A parent-child relationship is the purest form of love. It is unconditional. You can hit me, you can scream, you could throw a fit, you could tell me you hate me. I'm gonna love you because you are my child. I'm gonna love you because I love you. It's the same with my stepkids. I love them because I love them. Because it feels good to love them. So as you can see, I'm learning. I'm evolving. There's a lot to learn. But happiness should be the driving force in your life. You are naturally happy. Everything else that comes, every other emotion that comes, is a result of external influences. Do you agree? If you never heard about imminent nuclear war and, possibility of the FCC regulating the internet, like whatever it is, if you didn't know about any of those things, would you be concerned about them? If you couldn't read signs, would you let them stop you? I think that was the coolest meme I'd ever seen. It was something from Arthur. I think it's called Arthur. It's like Animal Families or whatever. And Arthur is this, I think he's a mouse-looking thing with glasses, and he has a little sister. And it was a little sister in the meme, actually, and she's looking at a door with a sign on it, and basically she's saying, I can't read, so I don't care what the sign says, I'm going to go through that door. And for the most part, I think that's the way we should all be. Why would we let something stop us? Obviously, unless there's danger involved. But why would we let anything stop us? If someone says, hey, don't do this because blah, 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 are you going to take their word for it, or are you going to check it out for yourself and make sure that that's actually what's going on? Either get a second opinion, third opinion, whatever, or try for yourself. I was taught to never trust anyone's information but your own. Because first of all, you need to consider the source, where the information is coming from. And second of all, you need to wonder what their motive is for telling you whatever it is they're telling you. Yeah, it's ridiculous, right? It makes you really paranoid. So what's the best thing you can do? All right, cool, thanks for telling me. And then you check it out for yourself. But at the end of the day, your happiness is all that matters. I've seen people come and go out of all kinds of companies. I've seen like a revolving door almost in hospitality. Because it's tough, it's not easy at all to work in hospitality. As much as you love to serve people, as much as you want to help people, the majority of the people who come through a hotel aren't the kind of people that you remember 10 years later. They're the ones you're dying to forget as soon as possible. They're the ones that come in and they know that because the customer is always right, the first thing they're going to do is complain to see how much they can get for free. And trust me, there are a lot of those customers out there. And I wish we could report them. I wish we could, put something out there on the internet that says, hey, so-and-so came to stay at this hotel and this is the first thing they did. And they have a history of doing this. Please watch out. I think people would think twice before they came to complain about dumb stuff. Happiness is important. Happiness should be your number one driving factor. Everyone does whatever they can to stay happy if you think about it. I go to work because having money in my pocket makes me happy. Because when my daughter wants something, then I'm able to provide for her, and that makes me happy. Being in love makes me happy. There's nothing I love more than being in love. But it doesn't always happen the way I want it to, and sometimes I have to let go. But that doesn't mean that every once in a while when I sit down and watch Tamil movies that I don't fall in love as the character falls in love and enjoy that process. What I'm finding out now is, as life goes on, and as I, trip over whatever hurdles come up in front of me, I'm starting to love the process. I'm starting to love the fact that I have survived 100% of everything that life has thrown at me so far. I'm starting to love it. I'm starting to see it as, you know what? All right, bring it on. Let's see what I can get through today. Yeah, I flirt with that line where I've had enough, and the other side that says, all right, well, let's see how much more I can take. It's a dangerous game, I assure you, but it's quite fun. I'm learning to love packing in as much life as I can into each day. When I come to you with these nightly podcasts, and I start off the day with the daily gratefulness, I guess it's a vlog, live broadcast. When I do those things, it makes me prioritize my time and my tasks. It makes me really reflect on the day and really be present in order to give you what I'm going through, like from a reality standpoint. I don't believe in fluff pieces. I don't believe in talking about things just for the hell of talking about it. I mean, seriously, I don't think about what I'm going to talk to you about on the podcast until about 5 minutes before I go live. And most of the time, the hardest thing for me is naming the damn episode. I don't know. Trying to pick a theme for the day and then trying to make sure it's not something I've done before. It's quite difficult and challenging, but it really forces me to be present. It really makes me think about the day, really go over every detail and basically pour my heart out in diary form, but in a podcast, basically. I can only imagine what this will sound like to me in about 3 years once my company's established and I'm married again and my daughter is, thriving in school. I can only imagine what these will all sound like. I probably sound like a complete crazy person. I don't know how y'all put up with me, but I am grateful. I'm glad you do chime in and you listen and you speak to me, those of you who are brave enough to come talk to me. Happiness is the goal, you guys. It always has been. Everything else is a means to an end. The job, the family, the kids, the house, the car, all of that. It's a means to an end. But to be happy on a daily basis, how amazing would that be? Happy as in I love what I have. I love my space. I love our routine. Not that I don't want more, I do. I'm going to push for that too. But as I'm sorting things out, I love what I have. I love the life we lead. And if it gets better, it gets better. And if it gets worse, we'll manage that too. But I love my life. Obviously, everything could be better. Guess what? They could be worse too. So why not love your life? There was a saying I came across today that says there are 2 days in which you cannot do anything about your life. The first is yesterday. The second is tomorrow. So why not be present in every moment along the way? If it's morning at 9:35 and you're rushing between, getting to work and opening the doors for students that are coming in early, why not enjoy the fact that you are going to try your best and see if you can make it or not? And if you don't, well, you know what? You know you arrived exactly when you were meant to arrive. Why not enjoy the process? Why not? What's the worst that could happen? And the funny thing is, as I learn more and more about source energy and the law of attraction, just being happy, just being grateful attracts more things that you can be grateful for. There are days where I'm not sure if I'll have enough money to make it through the end of the month. And out of pride, I will not ask my mother. I will not tell her because she worries about me incessantly anyway. I will just make do with what I have. I have a tendency to buy a lot of groceries. And a lot of things that are in the freezer I could use, but I tend not to. So when I'm running low on money, it makes me more creative. And I actually love that process. I hate the feeling of not having money. Don't get me wrong. But I do love how suddenly creative I can be when I don't have enough. How much I can make my money stretch when I don't have enough. And that concept, I'm trying really hard to use no matter what the money situation is. I want to live in that creative space all the time and see how much money I could save instead of paying for convenience because I have the money. It's the difference between a good life and a great life, right? Anyway, rant over. Number one takeaway for you though, please, 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 figure out what it is that makes you happy and go do those things. Figure out what it is that brings you back to happy when something's upset you or thrown you off kilter. Those are major, trust me. If you can figure out those two things, you can manage anything else that comes at you. I guarantee it. All right, you guys, I love you so much. It is pushing 1 o'clock in the morning right now, and I have a training tomorrow morning. So if you're interested, I think I've posted this on my wall already in the business page and on the personal page. It's called Manifesting Miracles. So tomorrow morning will be day 3 of the 12 days of Manifesting Miracles. And guess what? I get to train you. So if you're game, if you've got the time, why don't you come join me? It won't be that long, maybe half an hour. If you can spare half an hour to come sit with me, talk to me, listen to me. I'll be live on Instagram and live on Facebook as well. The link is on my page. Go sign up. It's free. It's free. Okay? And listen, if you like what I have to say, try it out and see if it works for you. If you don't, no harm, no foul. At least you learned another way that doesn't really vibe with who you are. And that's okay too. That's part of the learning process. Yeah? All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. To all my replay listeners, thank you so much for coming back and finding the episode to listen to. I do appreciate all of you, because otherwise I'd basically be talking to myself. I'm hoping I provide value. I'm hoping I'm shedding some light on some stuff that I'm going through that maybe run parallel with something you're going through. I'm hoping I'm giving you ideas of how else to tackle some things that are, happening in your life. Right now with Mercury retrograde until the 22nd, communications are not going to be smooth. There are going to be misunderstandings. That's just the way the retrograde is. So as much as you can, give the people around you the benefit of the doubt. Let them win this one for now and just see how things unfold. Try not to go pick fights. Right now, they won't end well. Excuse me. Man, I think I made it through the whole episode without yawning until just then. Dang it. But yes, thank you so much for listening, and I will chat with you again tomorrow. Like I said, if you are able, please join me. I would love to have you on there. I would love to see familiar names join in on the lives as I do them. It would be pretty cool, actually. All right, you guys. Love you. Y'all take care, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.